boys and girls, we are back. Yes, we've all enjoyed a bit of a peaceful international break, and we've all enjoyed the break from that football, haven't we? You know, because we don't miss it at all, do we? So, yeah, we absolutely do. So, welcome everybody. It's good to be back. Must admit, I've enjoyed a bit of a break from doing all this, which is just nice to have some calm. But yeah, it's good to be back. Obviously, Thursday nights with the live lounge show. So thank you to all of you that are in already. And tonight we have with us Herbie, Andy, and Gavin. I shall jump straight to our grid view so you can see them all nice and clearly. Evening, gents. Herbie, how are we doing?
Yes, all good.
Yeah, Andy, are you doing well?
I've recovered, mate. I've been given blood today, and as a little sort of sidetrack here, I want to sort of promote giving blood because it's important to do that. Every sort of donation you give, you're sort of you're saving 3 lives. So it's important to give blood. So go and give blood, people, if you can.
There you go.
Thank you.
You've been told. And Gavin, how you doing?
The last time I gave blood, we went away to Millwall. I just gave it to the concrete. Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, good. So, yeah, it's been an interesting one, isn't it? England pitting in some good performances, and seems like we're going to do well with Tuchel in charge. And yeah, I didn't watch all the matches. I caught more of the one on the other night, which was good because I hadn't had a chance really. Been very, very busy even without the show. But yeah, it's busy at work, actually, really, really busy, which is good because it's always good to be busy. Herbie, you've been doing a lot of coursework and stuff, so it's rare to get you on because obviously you're committed to getting that done at times, so it doesn't help with the schedule for the show. But you're feeling like you're getting things together?
Yeah, I'm getting things together. It might be like, monthly appearances, but we will get there eventually. And yeah, I know we've been obviously missing the football, but I went to watch Truro on Tuesday. I thought they were pretty poor, but yeah, it was just football to watch, to be honest.
So effectively, you just thought, do you know what? I mean, I just need to continue seeing poor football. So you thought you'd go to Truro.
Yeah, well, if I wanted to watch poor football, I should have sat and watched England. But to be fair, they actually played all right. So.
Yeah, no, it's some big scores and very, very confident. It's a very strange feeling, that sort of thinking. Actually, do you know what? We might have finally found a manager that can sort the squad out.
German.
So, Andy, besides giving blood, what else have you been up to, mate?
Oh, mate, do you know what? I've had a really great weekend last weekend. I went up to celebrate my mother-in-law's 100th birthday.
Wow,
bless her. She was.
Shout out to her then.
Shout out to her. She's had a great long life, and the whole family came together and celebrated it, mate. It was fantastic. We had 4 generations there. So, yeah, really special moment and really privileged to see her again. I haven't seen her for a few years, so it was nice to get away.
Yeah, that's impressive. And Gavin, I know we caught up earlier today, but yeah, you've been flat out as well with work, so it's relentless, isn't it? Non-stop.
Yes, it'd be nice to have a day at Argyle on Saturday and not worry about work for a few hours over a couple of glasses of red. Yeah. So yeah, all good. You can't complain. You're busy though.
No, exactly. Yeah, like I just said, yeah, it's better to be that than not at all. But it's good to take my mindset and focus away from doing what I'm doing in work to actually just getting back and having a distraction that is talking Argyle. So what have we got for you tonight, folks? So obviously we like to, those that are new to watching us, we like to produce some sort of additional content with our Thursday shows. Saturdays are all about evening. PT, good to see you back in. It's all about post-match on Saturday nights at 8:30. Gets a raw emotion if it's good, bad or indifferent. And Thursday nights are all about just sort of previewing the game. Obviously, we've got Wimbledon on Saturday, but we like to throw a topic in the mix. And we thought, well, seeing as we've had a few months of football now and this international break, let's reflect on the squad. So we're going to do that before we preview the match. Evening, Ben, who's in early tonight. So good to see you as well. So folks, if you've got any questions, don't be afraid, put them in the chat. We do show it up on the screen, as you can see there, so you can see what everybody's chatting about and engage with each other. Absolutely. So without further ado, let me go in and touch upon a few headlines recently. coming out this week, obviously with Brendan Galloway having a full 90 minutes on international duty for Zimbabwe. So really good to see that. And no reported injuries, folks. So that's always a blessing when it comes to Brendan Galloway. And the last thing we need is any more injuries in our squad. Andy's in as well. Evening, Andy. Good to see you in. Changed your name tag again, I see. Or you're jumping in with your YouTube or your X. But good to see you in, nonetheless. And also Xavi's back. Yes, the training photos for those that caught that. Carl tweeted it out in the week from our account as well. Obviously a gradual reintroduction, probably a bit earlier or sooner than people were expecting, but that's good. I'm sure he's absolutely pleased himself to get back on the grass and get involved. But it's good to see him back with the longer term injuries that he's had, and Pleggy also. Pleggy's due back, I think maybe end of November, from what he said on his Argyle TV interview. It's good to get some of these guys back. Argyle Tweets is also in. Get on, he says. Yeah, get on to you. And Stevie Vaughan's joining us as well tonight. So evening, Steve. Obviously, the big news, I suppose, is we've now hired our new goalkeeping coach. Yeah, Mike Stowell joins us. So it's good to, I think, there was a bit of uncertainty on how quickly we were going to get someone, cleverly citing again the location being an issue here. We believe, from what Steve said to us, Mike's got some family connections in Plymouth, so I'm sure that equally helped thank you, Gavin, his mum to the decision making. A little bit. I'll come to Andy. I think you've watched the interview on him. I mean, I've summed up what effectively was put out in the press release, but he's got proven success, 16 years of coaching experience from Leicester City, including the historic 2015-16 Premier League title campaign. He also achieved himself a league title with Maccabi Tel Aviv and recently worked with Bristol City's women. Cleverly's confidence in him. Manager Tom Cleverly praised Stowell's knowledge and experience and recalled their time together at Leicester. He expressed his delight at bringing a coach of such calibre to Argyle, expecting real expertise for his technical staff, and he's great at developing goalkeepers. David Fox highlighted incredible longevity and vast knowledge. He will work closely with Argyle's talented goalkeepers Connor, Luca and Zach to foster their growth and development. Oh, that word foster, we shouldn't.
Oh, God, shivers down the spine.
So, Andy.
There's nothing wrong with Ian Foster.
No, correct. So you watched the interview, Andy. So what sort of vibes did you get from Mike?
The experience is going to bring. He won the Premiership with Leicester, I believe, and he's got a good.
He wasn't in goal though, Andy. He was only.
No, he wasn't in goal. He was coaching those people who were in goal, though.
Come on, young man. Yeah, for a long time.
But it's a brilliant achievement, isn't it, to win a title that no one really gave him a chance to win. At the start of the season,
500 to 1.
That was amazing, wasn't it? And so he's got that success. He's got that expertise behind him. He's coached some good keepers down the years. Cashford Michael was one of those, I believe.
Yep.
So I'm really sort of excited by it because we've got a bit of experienced heads in there now. So to keep the youngsters, the Clevs and the other coaches at bay, But yeah, I'm really excited by what's going to happen and what he's going to bring to it.
Yeah, I think he also quoting from something you said, sent to me on it. He said, "You stay together, you work together, you push each other. Great group here. Looking forward to getting started." Look, it's good. Daryl Flavervan did a really good job, and I think it's going to be great to see what Mike can do. Gavin, thoughts on that appointment?
It's nice to have, and this is going to sound really ageist, but it's nice to have someone who's been around a bit and got the battle scars, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you looked at me there, Gav, didn't you? You looked at me there for a minute. I don't know.
No, never. But
around a bit,
he's mentioned it a couple of times, hasn't he? That the pretty much in terms of the coaching setup, they're all kind of got baby's mummy's milk on their top lip still. They're fresh out the packet, aren't they? All of them, pretty much. They're all in their 30s, apart from Nance, who's been here since 1827. But some of our coaches are younger, I think, than our skipper, which is says it all really. So I think to have that extra bit of experience will be a really good thing. He's obviously dealt with high pressure situations. I don't think anyone gave Leicester a chance, and I think their bums were squeaking when they won that year, probably from February onwards, where they were like, oh, actually, we may be able to do this now. Whereas before, I think they thought go for broke. So having that sort of experience of going 2 promotions, winning, I think, winning an FA Cup and a Charity Shield, and also being in Europe twice in the last round of 5 or last 16, means he's going to be an elite coach, where he's going to have elite athletes with elite mindsets, which is what I think the club requires at the moment, to push them up the league and to challenge them every day. And I think what's more important is his all-round ability, because he's had, 5 or 6 interim spells at Leicester when they had the revolving door of managers. So he's been in the top job. So that will give, I believe anyway, the rest of the management team some vast experience of general management rather than just the goalkeeping role. So I think he'll add a vast bit of experience all round, really. So when the going gets tough in the winter months, as it always does, that experience should shine through. So I think a very positive and a bit of a coup, really, to get a man of his calibre to be working with us.
Yeah, I think, brilliantly put. I think Herbie, he's going to be one of those that knows what it takes to win, as we've summarised there. And I think he will be one that will get involved. I don't think he will, not that cleverly he's got anybody that won't say their piece in the dressing room. But I think when you've got someone that's achieved that and experienced that, you can't not listen to him, because he's going to teach you a lot. So I think Herbie, he's going to be very influential in the dressing room as well there.
Yeah, and just sort of echoing what Gav said, like the fact that he's won the league with Leicester. I mean, he's been at a Premier League club that's won the league, and he was quite influential in that. I think also as well but Flahavan, I mean, you've got to remember about Cooper. So he's taken a young Michael Cooper and made him one of the best goalkeepers in the league, and like a real rising star in England. I think we forget how bad Conor Hazard was when he first came to us. He wasn't great with his feet. And now, actually going long in distribution, he's actually really good now. Ashby Hammond, we sort of saw it with him. He started off really crap and then sort of got into it. So I think Flahavan actually did a really, really good job. And I hope Mike can do the same. And especially, I mean, you're probably excited to watch like what he does with Conor Hazard, Ashby Hammond, but I want to see him take Zach Baker and to
great point
being a good goalkeeper. Because say, for example, if Hazard goes, do we just risk it and go, you know what, Zach Baker, let's give you some game time. Let's give you some more time with Mike. Let him coach you properly, and then have another England star on our hands potentially.
You've also got, don't forget, a young McCormick and Flower underneath that.
Yes.
Who I think both of them, from the reports I've read, are both going to be superstars of the future too. So he's actually got a nice crop there of senior academy players, if you like, and the 3 pros to work with. So yeah, if he's a developer of capability and an attribute, then we can have another Mike Cooper on our hands very quickly with one of those 3. Definitely, I agree. And if you're selling them for 4, 5, 6 million quid in the future, then he's earned his money and then some money.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's I really love the observation there, Herbie, about Baker. I mean, we've got a few slides on the players to go through in terms of our thoughts, good, bad, and indifference, for the season so far. And, when I saw the goalkeeping slide, and it's like, well, Baker hasn't got a look in, and people wanted him to in the cup games, never did. And I think, Ashby Hammond's only got a year contract, and he has done superb under the pressure off the back of that awful pre-season, FUBAR. But it's one of those where we want to get Baker, we need to develop him, because it's not easy getting decent replacement players, let alone goalkeepers. So I totally agree, Herbie. I think it will be good for him to get in there, see what Zach's about, and hopefully that turns into be positive, like Gavin said, and the younger ones coming up through again. So yeah, let's hope that it does prove positive, but absolutely right to point out the achievements of Daryl, totally. And also Pilgrim Petey actually in the comments makes an interesting point that interesting that Stowe was also the set piece coach at Leicester. So we've all probably could agree that we've definitely lacked that this season. So it'd be interesting to see if he gets involved in that to a degree and how he can mix that up for us. So I think that's a brilliant observation, Petey. Also, Paul Bailey's in tonight. Hi, always says, morning all and then hi all. I don't know where you are, Paul, but it is the evening. So, but good to see you in nonetheless. Mr. Magoo is back in tonight saying, Jack Mack still injured? Question mark, evening, gents. I haven't watched or listened to the press conference.
Yes, he is.
Right, good. So, because I put the quotes together for the show, but literally 10 minutes before we went live. So, thanks for that, Gavin. So...
Sorry, just to caveat that, just to give him an answer. TC's words, weeks, not months.
But it's been weeks, hasn't it?
No. I'm just relayed. Don't shoot me. I'm not listening. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying that he said weeks, not months. So, therefore, you'd think this side of Christmas he'll be in contention.
Because he had a setback, didn't he? Because he should have been, he would be fit at the end of October, and he was going to because I think
his hamstring was fixed, then he got shin splints, I think.
Yeah, was it? It's two different injuries, is it?
Yeah, it's two different injuries, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, just before we go on to season so far, I just want to touch on the job that Rhys Wilmot's done with the keepers recently. I know he sort of stood in briefly, but he has been doing stuff with the academy. So he's worked with people like Michael Cooper. He's worked with Zach Baker, probably McCormick. So a really good person
it was
to have
nice.
on your team as well.
I come across it on socials the other day. Was the flick back to the old West Country highlights that they used to do in the evenings on the Saturday, and there was a few games there where Rhys was in goal. He pulled off a couple of absolute stunners as well in front of the Barn Park end. He was a class goalkeeper. But him and Alan Miller, we both got from Arsenal. They were both really, really good.
Yeah. He's a good guy as well, Rhys. I'm hoping to get him on the show soon.
I don't know how you remember all this stuff because my memory is useless, but then that's why you're here, and I just try and host it as best I can.
You just jumped on the bandwagon.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, throw it all at me. Where's the how do I kick out? There he is. I think just a note to that, although I don't want to jinx it now, but Andy has been chatting to Rhys, and he did say he will try and come on the show. We are trying to get him on. We want to try and see if we can get him on before the Exeter game next week, and if we can, that'll be great. We want to try and bring obviously some people associated with the club in any way onto the show. We enjoy doing that. Obviously, we had Pleggy at the start of the season, which has been brilliant. Which was brilliant, I should say. We obviously had Chris Errington on recently, and that was really good. So we want to try and bring that different content to the lives for you. It reminds me. Just to sort of say, actually, on that game next week, obviously, because it's Thursday night, well, we're obviously not going to come live on here, or are we? So what I might do is I'll be watching it at home. I'm not going. I think, Herbie, you're going. You try and get to these away games.
Right, is this Exeter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going next.
Yeah, so you're going. Harvey's going as well. It's his birthday. I think it's his birthday today or tomorrow, but Harvey is out having a birthday meal. So happy birthday to you, Harv. Just a shout out there. But what I might do if people want to join in for a laugh is I might actually just go live while I'm watching the game on Sky, and we can just chat, or I can just sit here on my own and you can all just laugh.
Or you could invite your mates around and have a beer.
No, you said mates, Andy. I mean, you just slagged me off just now. I mean, I'm not. But no, because I have considered doing watch-alongs and stuff like that before. Obviously, not now. We do the live post-match on a Saturday, but away games when I'm sat here watching it because I transport to France, then it's something that I thought, I might give a test. So if you're up for that, I might just do it. If anybody comes in, they come in. All good fun. So back to the plot, the season so far. So we wanted just to go through in sections each of the players and what we think good, bad or ugly, like I said, who can improve, who needs to probably be dropped, if anybody. But first of all, our current league situation. So let's give us all a recap on where we are. So we played 11 out of 12. I put in brackets Mansfield because obviously that forced the international break for both clubs. So we've got that game in hand over most. We've won 4, 2 of which those were away, which I know have shocked us all, but thank God. Drawn 1 at home recently, and then lost 6-3 home and away. Goals for 16, 7 of which have been at home, 9 of which have been away. And again, that's telling. And goals against 19, 8 of which have been at home, and 11 that have been away. To put that into some sort of context, if we were trying to rely on our home form because of our away record of recent seasons, we would be in 21st, so it would be pretty bad. But on our away form, we are currently 11th, and who would have thought that? So it's you know what? Is it where some of us expected to be? I thought we would be a little bit better than that. Would any of us think, oh yeah, we should be at the top because we've come down from the Championship? No, not with the disruption I think that we've had, certainly. But I mean, Gavin, how do you sum up just our position and those stats for the season so far?
I think the first half a dozen games need to be written off to the worlds of time. We were dreadful. So was it 5 or 6 that we lost on a bounce? It was 5, wasn't it? Rooney was 6. So yeah, I think there was a lot of Unilever stock price increasing in that period. I do remember that distinctly. But I think since then we've managed to get a grip and start to play. Since he's changed formation, that's done a lot. We've had been a lot better. Home form is a bit of a worry, and I keep hearing this repetitive theme from all the interviews. People come here and play a low block. When they go 1 up, park the bus. We got to learn how to break down those scenarios, which is fine. But if you look at goals for, we've scored 16 at home. So,
7 at home, 16 in total. Yeah.
Sorry. But we've also scored 6 at home in one game in the cup. I know it was against Tottenham's kids, but that shouldn't pose a problem. I think there's a bit of form now. I think there's probably more importantly a bit of confidence now. Those Conor Hazard fans out there, me being one, will probably say that that's due to him being back in the side and that spine's now strengthened. I think it's a bit unfair on Ashby Hammond, aka Delazouche. Is it a good start? No, it's probably a C+ on a report card, but it's probably a B+ for the last 6 games, and it's probably an E- for the first 6. So overall, am I upset? No, not really. I'd sooner be getting a run of form now going into Christmas and then extending that post-January with a bit of bolstering of the squad than I would to go out like a cheap firework and all piss in the beginning and then at the end, and then we end up a bit like we did a few years ago, actually, Shuey's first year, where we ran out of steam in those last few games because we had no players who were fit enough and the squad wasn't deep enough and blah blah blah. So for me it's a C+ start overall, and I think we'll get better from here.
Yeah, no, I think absolutely. I think, Andy, it was, we were all hopeful. You try and be positive pre-season, but the reality is, the reality very much hit home very quickly. And it was clear that, the whole small squad. I like small squads. No, really don't. Give me some players. And obviously there was a lot of, you can tell the difference. It's reflective at times in the numbers, in the audience numbers on the show, when there's a lot of pent up frustration and everybody wants to get their voice heard, and blaming this person, that person, you see good, strong numbers. And then when no one's got anything to moan about, it's less so, and obviously because people love, bad news and want to vent their frustrations. But so it was a tough start. The transfer window, ended up being tough after a good early start. I think with Laurent Talai and stuff, that was a brilliant signing and proven to be, touchwood, and continues to. We'll come on to him and the Fords in a minute. So Andy, do you know what? It could be worse, of course, but I think we're seeing that form, and we did say got to give it to the end of October, really, didn't we? Or a few weeks back, I should say, after the window. Let's see what happens once these players start to gel. And 2 weeks on the training pitch, give or take a few days, hopefully that's helped as well.
Yeah, I think that's why the international break was vital right now. All right, there's not been any real football on TV to watch, so let's get the players on the grass playing. I think the first 6 games, apart from QPR, were disastrous for us. We were still sort of loaded together as a team, sort of gelling together as a team. I think Clev's just got that balance now of the team spirit's there now, and he's got them working together and scoring together, pulling on the same rope together, sort of thing. So things are looking a lot brighter than they were sort of in the first few weeks of the season. That's certainty. I think as Gav's already touched on, home form could be better, C+, whatever, but away form is getting better. B+, yeah, absolutely. We just got to sort of keep hoping that we can. Now we're getting players coming back as well. We've got 4 players coming back this weekend. What sort of effect that's going to have on the rest of the team? Who do you drop? And yeah, it's interesting there. So we got some headaches from Mr. Cleverly.
I think Herbie, I'm going to come to you with the first round of actual players and segue into this, because I think there's some of these players, and notwithstanding as well, Herbie, obviously we hit with a number of injuries. Edwards is notably come back and gets a red card and misses 3 games. Obviously players with long-term, Pleggy and Xavi at times. Watt's recently going off, when he looked, was a positive on the pitch with a few other players. So it's been one of many challenges, isn't it, to the start of the season?
Yeah, and I think it's a problem that we've faced before. I mean, Argyle are just known. I mean, I suppose every team goes through injuries, but it does seem like as soon as someone's playing well, they just get injured or they just go to Stoke. That's just normally what happens to us. I can sort of even last season, Hardy was out for a while. And then this season we've missed our main goalkeeper, our best centre-back going into the season, and then probably our best performing player, Caleb Watts, then also gets injured as well. So it's just been, and Mackenzie, not even seen him play. So we've had lots of
Amici as well, who was probably our flagship signing up until July.
Yeah, exactly. And there's loads of injuries, and it does affect us. Like, even if they're like players that just come on as subs, like Patterson, Asaka, like players that were injured for like a small amount of time and not first team players, it still has an impact on like the dressing room, how they train. It's a massive impact on the team.
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, and that happens, when you're going through the changes that we are on the small squad, and regardless of the budget, when you struggle to get players in for a number of reasons, we won't repeat that because we've done it to death. But there are good positive signs. It's not to say those that are coming back we're going to suffer any more injuries. Touch wood, everywhere we don't. So going through the players then. So in their positions, I'll just clip them from the Argyle site so we can talk about it and look at what we're talking about as well. Not that we don't know who they are, of course, but goalkeeper wise, we've touched upon this briefly, talking about Mike Stowell, but Connor Hazard, Zach Baker and Luca Ashby-Hammond. So we'll just briefly touch up on this, and I'll stick with you, Herbie, on this, but Luca Ashby-Hammond, awful pre-season because of that, Fubar, and then comes in and then, for me, grew and grew and grew once the squad had settled a little bit, because his performances are equally reflective of what's in front of him and stuff as well, which didn't help the situation. But the biggest noticeable thing for me with Hammond, who still edges this for me over Hazard, is his distribution, Herbie.
I'd actually disagree. I think Hazard's distribution is better than Ashby Hammond's. I generally think that. I mean, I'm probably being biased. Obviously, I love Connor Hazard, but I'm just going back to when I was at Lincoln away. I mean, the whole team were it was a terrible performance. We just didn't get going. But I specifically remember Ashby Hammond was just he just couldn't get it right, and it was just constant ball out of play, much like Hazard was when we first had him.
I didn't disagree with that.
Yeah, so it did seem, and obviously I'm picking on one game, but I'm sure there's many where he's been struggling with distribution. And actually, Hazard has had how long has he been? Is it 3 years now he's been with us? Is this his third year?
This is his third season, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's been obviously coached under Flanagan, like we've said, and his distribution has got so much better. Like, he kicks out of play once or twice in a game. It used to be 6 or 7, but he's doing it like probably once in a game, or doesn't make the right pass like 2 or 3 times. But he is definitely getting better, and I do think he probably, distribution-wise, he makes less mistakes as Ashby Hammond. And also I feel as if that when Hazard, he doesn't rush. Say it's in like the 60th minute and it's 0-0, and the whole crowd are going, oh, throw it to Mumba when he's like at the halfway line. He doesn't do it. He just stays calm and regains the ball, rolls it out, and then we get playing. Because a lot of the time he'll boot it long and then just giving the possession back. Whereas I think Ashby Hammond would succumb to that pressure, boot it long, out for throw in, and then we're under the cosh again.
I sort of, if Carl was on tonight and he's working shift again, which is why he's not, but Carl would probably agree with you, I think, on Hazard's distribution, because he said it before when we brought it up. Carl was very, and in fairness to him, obviously that is what happened. Carl was adamant Hazard was going to come straight back in as soon as he was available. Myself, I think Gavin and Andy were not so convinced by that. I'm going to disagree on the distribution, because I think I've seen some stuff from Hammond when we've been playing well. The tough games are tough because no one then wants the ball, because they just are fearful that they're going to something's going to go wrong. But I can just see the differences. I was a big fan of Hazard's. I've said this day one on the show when he was very criticised early on, and he grew. And you're right, that's very evident from what Daryl's been doing with the goalkeepers. But he's still, Gavin edges it on that for me. He grew though in terms of Hammond commanding his box, because there was a bit of weakness there, the same as Hazard, and he's they're big guys, certainly Hazard.
5 and 6'3", yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's for me, he's probably feeling a bit like, gutted, but he knew what he was coming into, and Hazard is the number one. And we're fortunate to then, have two good goalkeepers that are going to keep, Hammond's going to keep Hazard on his toes.
Yeah, well, number one, Ashby Hammond was without a club before he signed for us, and must have had a good trial, because otherwise we wouldn't have signed him. So he's playing for a decent League One club. I don't know what his salary is, but he'll probably be Callum Burton, I imagine, type of numbers, $100,000 a year, something like that. So it's not a bad position to be in for a League One goalkeeper. Because don't forget, he's not had a spacious previous career. He's been down in the non-league and not doing very well there now either. So I think he's done well to get in the club. I think he took his opportunity after the first 4 or 5 games very well. Your point, Mike, around when things are going badly, no one wants the ball. Yeah. And I've genuine sympathy for Luke Ashby Hammond, because many a times, even at home park early doors when we were struggling, he's come out, he's looking to throw long, and everyone's turned their back and I don't want it. And then the crowd are like, "Come on, man, move it!" And you're like, "Well, to who?" And then you roll it out. So I think he's a very good number 2 now. I wouldn't have said that a few weeks ago, but I think his confidence has grown. He's pulled off some very good saves as well in the last few games that he had for us.
Yeah,
but there's no beating around the bush. Conor Hazard's an international number 1, right? He's played for Northern Ireland in big games. If they get to the World Cup, it will do him the world of good too. And I know he mentioned that earlier on his press conference. His distribution's got better, I think, as Herbs has said, in many ways. Out of hand, I think he's always been really good, and he can throw to the halfway line comfortably, which again is a real big plus for any goalkeeper. I can remember, many decades ago, Bruce Grobbelaar was probably the only person who could do that at will, and everyone else was like underarm. But he can get us going quickly. He's also, for a man with very large feet, I imagine he's probably size 12 or 13, because he's 6'5". He's got a good touch now, whereas before I think he was a bit. My brother used to say, I'm surprised he hasn't played fly half all his life, because he used to hit touch all the time for a line out, which didn't exist. But yeah, and his shot stopping is, still that final save in stoppage time against Liverpool, I still remember like it was yesterday, where the ball comes and he sort of flicks to the bar from that header from, I think, Nunes. It was just remarkable. And I think if we get him back to anywhere near that form, we'll have a bloody good go this season at top 6, because I think we'll have more clean sheets than anything else. If you remember last year, under the man who's gone to Germany, whose name I forget, I can't remember what his name was. He was quite a mere coach who didn't really have much to say about himself. He was very self-deprecating. I can't remember his name. Anyway, someone will let me know.
More on Muesli.
That's it. Yeah. Muesli. That's it. Muesli.
Breakfast usually.
Under him, he was remarkable with his saves, and probably saved us a handful of points last year. I know it wasn't enough, but did really, really well. And I think he's back. He's fighting fit. He wants to prove his point, and he'll probably want to extend his contract, I imagine, to if we stay up in the champ and go again and prove, he's got that itch to scratch up there where he was injured for a period of time and last season and this season and didn't get a run. So I think there's only one number one, then he wears it. So that's the end of the debate, really. Zach Baker has got a lot of promise for the future, and he's been given another year this year to do what he needs to do. I think he probably needs a loan to go out and play a bit. Now we've got number two, but maybe train locally. But Conor Hazard, there's no debate for me, is the number one when fit and on form.
And just as I mentioned Carl's name, he suddenly appears probably in his breaking work in the comments, so probably missed what I said. But we were just highlighting that you were right, Carl, about him coming straight back in, and Herbie agreeing with you on distribution-wise, in terms of Hazard over Hammond, in disagreement with me. I'm going to come on. I'm not just going to completely go to everybody for every player review because I'm conscious of time. But Andy, I'll come to you though on this. Defensive setup of players that we have in the squad now. Obviously, Pleggy out with that long-term injury. I think someone, Pitt, in the comments or said, oh, that's it. TC said, Steve Vaughan, thanks, Steve. TC said Pleggy's still 2 months away from playing. But obviously, that was a very big concern because star player, and to lose him at the start of the season was not good with the state and the change in the squad. Jack McKenzie, obviously, hopefully in the next couple of weeks will come back. Cornell Souks, I'd imagine, is ready to be back after his little issue. Joe Edwards, Alex Mitchell, Matthew Soronola, Brendan Galloway and Matthias Ross notwithstanding as well. Andy, Mitchell and Ross coming in have just been incredible. And I think to step into the shoes of like Pleggy, especially, and then Katic, obviously, and Talavirov that left us, they have been just absolutely phenomenal. And they absolutely helped Hammond when he was playing with them in front of him before the changes we just discussed. And you can just see the difference when a keeper can trust his front line of defence, his first line of defence. And they've been brilliant signings, haven't they?
Yeah, you're totally right about. I mean, when Talavirov went and Paulson went, massive gaps in the defence.
Oh, did you say Paulson massive gap?
No, well, there was when he left, there was a massive gap left in the defence. Pleggy got injured as well. We haven't had Jack McKenzie this season so far. Zooks got injured, if I remember, and the back four was just like non-existent hardly. So bringing in Matthias Ross, and certainly Alex Mitchell. I think Mitchell of the two is just edging it for me as one of those players. He reminds me. I'm trying to think who he.
He's a Marcel Sype. He's definitely would you put him as
that sort of ilk. Yeah. Jerry McElhinney, I think Gav mentioned a few weeks ago, but he's that sort of ilk, where he's going to get rid of the ball. Is no nonsense, and that's exactly what you want in front of you as a keeper. Just going back to Hazard, I think he needs those two players in front of him for his confidence, and I think that's why Ashby Hammond didn't concede many in that interim when they came to the side. So we've still got players coming back as well, like McKenzie. McKenzie's still got to come in. Joe Edwards is going to be fit again. Brendan Galloway's chomping at the bit. So we've got a good...
The back three is interesting because we've got 6 very, very good centre-halves.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. For me, you've got Ross or Such on the right or in the centre. You've got Mitchell, Galloway, and Pleguezuelo. So of that 6, you could name any 6, and any combination of that 6, and I don't think I'd be that bothered.
Yeah.
Pleguezuelo and Ross are the 2 footballers. I would say Ross is Rolls Royce for me. He's playing well below his standard, and he's only just starting getting going. He's had a long layoff, and he's now just I think
he's still not up to speed. Agree.
By Christmas, I think we'll see the real Matthias Ross, and signing that guy, I think we got him a 3 maybe even 4-year contract. It's an absolute
steal,
just an amazing fight. Yeah. But again, you're taking punt on someone who's barely played football, had a little bit of an injury worry previous season. But he is. I mean, he's played for Galatasaray in the Champions League, and now he's playing against Wimbledon, AFC Wimbledon on Saturday. It's a bit of what a find. Superb. Yeah. I think he's probably our best defender bar none.
Well, yeah, and I think Mitchell comes into that category as well, Gav, because he's assured and solid.
Yeah, what I found
pass.
really interesting on the away game at Burton when they switched them round, sort of scratching my head, going, "What's Ross doing playing in the middle? He's played on the right all this time." But actually, Ross is the best person to put his foot on his ball and spray a pass. Although I think Alex Mitchell said that game, "Hold my beer," because some of the through balls he played with his right foot, playing left centre half into Talai, were superb. So on the channel, they all seem to be chomping at the bit. And I, Saturday, I've got my list of subs here for the selection later, and I've still not made my mind up about what the subs will be for my selection. But you can only have, at the moment on Saturday, one of Galloway or Such.
Yeah.
Because the three that are in form pick themselves. And then when Plaguey comes back, you got one of three on the bench. In the Championship, it's easy. You've got 9. You can chuck 2 on the bench. Not with 7, you can't. You can't have 2 centre-halves in the team when there's 7.
Yeah, and I think that was always, the fear with, when we realised Maxi wasn't going to stay. Obviously, Cage, it was obviously clear very quickly at the end of the season, and it's like, cool, that's difficult because they were almost nearly season defining in the end in terms of maybe keeping us up, weren't they? And but Herbie, the challenge as well is, I mean, Matty Soranola, not everybody's cup of tea, but he's been brilliant all season and played a lot of minutes. Edwards obviously wants to come back. You got this balance of, you want a leader out on the pitch because that's been evident that's been missing. But it's like, do you drop then Soranola, which I think would be the natural change, wouldn't it? But it's like when he's done really well, and the international break probably came at the right time for him because he did seem to be limping up in the last 2 games towards the end because he's pitting a hell of a shift. But we have got a bit with Mackenzie coming back soon. There is a bit of like, oh God, you got some options here now, Clev.
Yeah, but it's also a good problem to have. I mean, the fact that we've got this problem in defence, like, we've got so many good defenders. Who do we play? It does mean if some are to get injured, then we've got good enough players to replace them. But we've not got that, say, up front. We'd love to have that problem as a striker, wouldn't we? We'd love to have like really, really solid players behind Talai that could easily play 10 games in a row straight and be just as good. But we've got that in defence, which is a good problem to have. Going back to what you said on Soranola, probably been other than maybe Boateng, maybe our most consistent player, I'd say. Just constantly, just up and down the pitch as well. Defensively, been really good. Threading balls down the line, also just excellent. He's been, unbelievable. The amount of times I've gone on the Argyle app and he's one of the 4 to be man of the match. I mean, probably every single time he's played, to be honest. Yeah. So he's been unbelievable. But then again, do you want a leader on the pitch like Edwards? And is that enough to put Soranola back on the left to fit Joe Edwards in? I don't know. Because why would you move Soranola if he's been so good at right back? So it's a really tough choice to make.
Yeah, and the one notable, because he'll be on the midfield slide, but his adaptability that actually just popped into my head is we're missing Wyadu from this selection. And the fact that he's been in there, on that left side, and he's had a hell of a season as well. So it's a great situation to be in, that's for sure. And the likes of Jack McKenzie, you almost like, well, how does he come into the game? How is he going to get those opportunities after being out for so long? So he's going to have that frustration because there is a lot of good options. I think the only one for me, sort of, Andy, I'll end with the defence with yourself, but is, I suppose, Brendan Galloway. If you play him out of position from that left side, he can be a bit, makes you a bit nervous, and he's either going to have a game where he just does really well, it's hot and cold, basically.
Yeah, you want someone with experience back there, don't you? Brendan's got that experience, international, of course he is. You've got to have that sort of steady Eddie head there. If you don't have that, then Cornell Zux is going to go AWOL, I think, personally. He's of the players that we've talked about, Cornell's probably the one who he's got the ability, but I don't think he's quite up there with the likes of Mitchell or Ross.
So he could potentially say he's going to be the one that's going to find it hard to get back into the side.
Yeah, Yeah, I think so personally. I like Cornell. He's a great little player, but he does make mistakes.
Cornell will be in with a
Sure.
shout just because of his long throw, if nothing else.
Yeah,
But I
that's
don't
true.
think-
Well, but we've seen Wire do with the throw as well.
Yeah, but I
Where
don't
it is
think
big-
it's as good as Cornell's. And I think if you, I'm just looking on FOTMob now. So Brendan Galloway's season played 8 matches, FOTMob rating 6.77. I know they don't tell the entire story. Of course they don't. And then if you look at squad, if you look at
I've got it open if you want to just shout the name.
so what's Such's run rate and score?
In a sec, basically, he's on a
6.24.
He's on a 6.24. Started 7, 630.
So they're kind of 6 and 2 3s really, in terms of their performance. Well, certainly stat driven anyway through FOTMob. So this is the conundrum I'm having from a bench on Saturday. Is Galloway's just played 90 minutes internationally. He's sharp. He's probably last season. You probably said before Katic and Maxi arrived, our best centre half. But I think everyone would agree with that. Played for Everton. Probably would, if he didn't have his injury record, would probably have played Premier League football for quite some time, or been there or thereabouts. It's either him or it's Such. I don't think Such makes many mistakes. He's got a bit more go forward, I think, than Brendan does. But his long throw is a big threat, and we've scored goals from that long throw. So it's like flip a coin, isn't it? But aren't these wonderful conversations to be having? If you think about, I'm just thinking about last year when we had Pušač as an emergency centre half on the left, and he's about 4'6", like Scrappy do. We have had some tough times. Now, at least we've learnt our lesson there. Pleggy is probably our best all-round defender. It's been out for the year, even Pleggy, if you're listening. But I actually think that with Ross and Pleguezuela, we've got 2 Rolls-Royce defenders. If you have Mitchell in the middle of them, you'd have, with a bit of Bud and Thud, you'd have a really good enriched back 3. But any of those other guys would also add value on their day. So I think we're a rich vein there. I don't know many clubs in League One have got that level of depth in their back 3 or back
caliber. Yeah, I totally agree.
I also think out of all those defenders that were shown there, I think Such is the only one that offers something different in the sense that he's a ball carrier and he won't. I mean, he's
good.
Also out of all of them, maybe other than Pleguezuela, he's probably the best out of all the centre backs there. So Ross, Pleggy, Mitchell, Galloway as well. He's the best passer of the ball out of all of them. He has got a ping on him, and also just carrying the ball, just dribbling with it. When he sees the space, he will just go. He will just go forward.
Yeah, I think absolutely brilliant point to end that on, Herbie. So absolutely. Midfield then, obviously we've touched upon on the screen. Of course, we have Brendan Waidu, Bali Mumba, Eamon Benarous, Caleb Watts, Malachi Boateng, Lord McKay, Bradley Ibrahim, and Caleb Roberts. Caleb Roberts obviously hasn't. He featured some minutes, I think, didn't he, as a sub, but hasn't seen much other than that, the odd cup game. Waidu we talked about, or I brought up just now, obviously from a defensive point of view, because that's where he's been used the last few games. Again, a player who had that horrendous start with the own goal, it just was falling apart for him, and then has just come back superbly and has put in some brilliant performances, and said himself he is adaptable. We brought him and signed him on because he has that flexibility, and he is happy to play wherever the gaffer needs him to, and he has been brilliant as well, supporting that defensive line. I mean, when you look again, Eamon Benarous, I don't think we've seen the best of him. I'd still go back to that QPR Cup game when he was paired up with Patterson, and it was Hatch, I think, on that side. Yeah. And it was some brilliant play going on. It showed signs. Then Patterson got his injuries. Eamon picked up a niggle. So from my point of view, I think we've got more to see from Benarous. What sadly was that bright spark in those sort of early games that were painful, but obviously picked up that injury. But we will be excited to see him come back. Mumba. Now I'll come to him in a second because caused a bit of a good debate and difference of opinion before we came on the live, as it did post-match the Saturday of the last game. But Boateng, absolutely Mr. Consistent, has been there all season, not really putting a foot wrong. He is on the FOTMob rating third, actually, below Talai and Alex Mitchell with 7.9, but has been absolutely brilliant. Law McCabe, obviously brought in on loan. I think there is some huge potential there, and you can see from the lad that he's got that bit of difference about him. And I think the more he gets into a game, rather than being almost sitting back too deep and supporting the defence, I think will be exciting to see what he can bring. Bradley Ibrahim has been another one that's been a starlight. He's dealt with his frustrations and his issues, and his discipline is a word I'm looking for, really, and that's been great to see. So, Gavin, Barley Mumba, I know you weren't on the show, obviously, out of that post-game, but
I was adamant.
Yeah,
you wanted me that night. I was absolutely trolleyed. Anyway, there we go.
It would have made it entertaining. But yeah, against Wigan. So my view on Barley is I've always been a big fan of him. He does make those mistakes, and sometimes in games they have been costly, but then there's other players that equally do. My view on him on Saturday night, and it did, for me, it reflected in his FOTMob rating, I think it was 5 or 6 something, was that there's just seemed to be, again, an element of trying to do too much. He was getting past balls that weren't difficult to deal with, and he would lose them, overhit them, overtouch them, whatever you want to call it, out to touch even at one stage, and a few little errors in there. So I know myself, Andy, when we were doing the show on that night, and I'm trying to think if Carl was on with us now, I'm having a blank.
Yeah, Carl.
We weren't overly positive on him in that game. I sort of felt maybe there's an opportunity he needs to be dropped. But Gavin, before we went on the show, rightly put some stats out there, but completely disagree.
In fairness, I'll give some kudos to young Herbs here as well. So he was like, hasn't he got quite a ton of assists? Oh yeah, he's got 3. He's joint leading assist. He's also got a FOTMob rating of 7, which is third and best in the club. Which is also great. Yeah,
5th, 7.02. Yeah.
Now, one of the things I think we do as a club, right, and we do as a fan base, is we look back with our rose-tinted or green-tinted spectacles to days gone by when we had that, magical mystery tour up front of Hardy, of Azaz, of Whittaker, of Mumba. It was like the Beatles, wasn't it? Let's be candid. And the Fab Four were, scoring goals left, right, and centre. Just remember the beautiful goal against Exeter at home on Halloween. The goal of the first game of the Championship against Huddersfield, where he basically did a escape to victory Pele impression. Give me the ball. I do this. I do this. I do this. I do this. I score. He was remarkable. What I think we're doing is we're comparing Ballymumba 2023, 2024 against Ballymumba 2025, 2026, right? In this side, which is a less of a side, let's be candid, right? He is still a very good player. Is he the player that he was playing with the Fab Four or 3 others? No. If he does, his goal tally would be higher. He'd probably have 3 or 4 goals by now. He may have 1 or 2 more assists, and he'd certainly be looking to take players on more. He plays better at wing back, I think, than he does left wing. And again, we started him the season, and he changed his shirt the day before the first game to number 11.
Yeah.
So he's expected to play left wing. So I think because Bally's a bit of a victim of his own ability to play several positions. And I don't think he's played as well as he has done in previous seasons. But I don't think he's played badly. Just to go back to your thing as well about losing the ball. So if you watched Argyle Analyst Show with Aaron Cusack, he basically says, and here's a perfect example of how bad the wind was. Ballymumba's given the ball and it blows 5 yards different past him and rolls into touch. So you can't really blame Ballymumba for a ball that goes at it and goes, ugh, because the wind took it. I mean, it was blowing a hoolie.
That's a fair
observation. Control the wind, though, surely.
Sorry?
He can control the wind, surely.
Yeah, well, why not? I think he could have done in 22, 23, 23, 24. That's the problem. He can't control it anymore because he's not with the Fab Four. So my personal view is I think Ballymumba is a very good footballer, and I think he will. And every week on our score predictions, who's going to score? Ballymumba, right? So I'm literally like a broken record.
I think you need to not nominate him because then I think he'll score.
It'll happen this week. Don't worry. But I think he, when he gets the ball at his feet and he cuts inside, he has defenders and midfielders crapping their pants because he runs at them, which then gives space for others. So he will come good this year. There's my word. And I'm not saying he hasn't come good already because he's played his foot mob rating 7 and he's got 3 assists, right? And I think actually the Burton goal for Peppel, where he gets to the line and cross that ball in, which is his job, really, get the byline and hit the ball in the 6-yard box for an attacker to come on and score, was the perfect execution of his skill as a winger or a wing back. Right?
Yeah, I think. Look, I'm sort of not against Bally. I know, Andy, you've been more vocal about him. That game frustrated me, but I think there's those times because you want to see more from a player that has that ability, and it's frustrating when things don't go. The wind thing, I didn't know about. So, and it was a windy day, obviously, and so from that angle where I'm sat in Block 9 over where that incident took place, right over by you, Gav, that you don't necessarily see that. There's a lot you obviously don't see. That could be element driven, but it just frustrated me in that game. But I think the whole match frustrated us. Herbie, you said earlier, teams are coming down trying to park the bus and stop us playing, and we've got to find a way to deal with that. Gavin touched upon it as well early on. Andy, you do get quite animated in the stands, which always makes us laugh as well.
Cheers, mate. That'd be a source of entertainment. Yeah.
But you were frustrated. But look, we know he's a very good player, and when he turns it on, he can turn it on.
We're just critics, aren't we? We're all critics of players. We've got the right to do that because we pay the money we pay to watch the match. But Bally's is inconsistent. If he's a great player. It's there. He's got the ability, the skill. We said it before in previous lives that he just tries too hard. I just think he just needs to slow down a little bit, look around what's around him. He slips on his backside more times than anything. It's just sad.
When you're referring to that game, you talking about the Wigan game?
Yeah. The Wigan was terrible. It was awful.
Did anyone particularly play well?
That was my point, Herbie, just now. In terms, I was frustrated with that game because of that we should have done better in that game, and we didn't deal with it either in the game before at home. So you take that frustration and you do don't disagree, pick on where you see mistakes from players where you think he should have done better.
Yeah, only because when the team is playing poorly, as we did against Wigan, we weren't great. I think probably the worst position to be is probably on either wing, because if you're not getting the ball and you have to take the game by the scruff of the neck, and it's down to you to create something, and that's really tough.
And he does take that on his shoulders because he said about it, hasn't he?
Yeah. And you have to rely on, good passes from your midfield and your defenders, and Talai knocking it down to you, and you being able to put yourself on one-on-one situations, because that's what he's best at. But he can only do so much to put himself in that one-on-one situation. It's the other players around him that, if the whole team played poorly, it's the other players around him that weren't getting him the ball in that 1v1 situation to get the best out of him, because he can only do so much, I think.
Yeah, it goes back to Gavin's point on the better players that he's had.
Yeah, exactly. Before. It's easy when you got Azar's passing.
I think the challenge, just going back to last Saturday, sorry to cut in, is Law McCabe played too deep.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So if Law McCabe's deep, the wing backs have to become deeper, and also we haven't got any attacking threat, and we're not connected. And then the front two are literally going, "Hello, I'm in a different postcode over here. Okay, can we some ball?" If Law McCabe, and hopefully on Saturday he'll push up. If you look at Burton, he spent most of his time halfway line and beyond. We look like rock stars because the passing of the ball was into that final third straight away. When you're sitting, taking the ball literally like a quarterback off the centre half and go and give it to me, I'll pass it to someone. Everybody's 10, 15, 20 yards deeper. That's the big problem.
Do you feel though that McCabe had to play deeper because we lost Mitchell that for that game? So
no,
he had to sort of...
no, not at all. Because you have Ross in the middle, and Ross was in the middle the previous game. I don't think that's an issue at all. I just think for whatever that reason that day, we just played a bit deeper. Yeah. I don't understand why, because we're at home, we should have been on front foot, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't. And I'm hoping, the last couple of weeks, the analyst team have got down, because if an idiot like me can see it, then surely the vast superior brains that get paid a fortune to coach our football club will say, get up, son, get up.
Yeah.
Take the ball on the halfway line and make your forward pass, not 20 yards into our half, because it suffocates the whole thing.
And then you can see why then obviously like Mumba's had a bad game.
Correct.
He's not losing the ball in the final third. No. He's now losing it.
He's losing it on the halfway line, behind the halfway line.
Yeah.
Or he's thinking in his head, right, I've got to beat 3 players to get to the final third.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, if he gets it wide when we're attacking, he's getting it probably 10 yards from the line of the 18-yard box, 1-on-1, which is exactly where you want him to have the ball.
Yeah,
we are sounding like we know what we're talking about in this pod tonight. This has to stop now. But it's true. It's where you as that wing back, it's where you receive the ball.
Yeah, and so look, not to sort of take up this whole segment on Mumba, but obviously he's one that's been with us for a while now. We know that there was those sort of questions. He was looking for that move. We don't.
He stays in for me,
but he was looking for that move. And sometimes that can affect your mentality when you've seen your mates go on, stay in that championship, etc., etc. But yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's definitely I find those issues sometimes frustrating, but equally it's not just because of his own doing, and that's fair to point out. But looking at obviously some of the other players, so we touched upon Lord McCabe. We think we got more to see there. His potential, has been, his profile is huge for that. Boateng we know has been Mr. Consistent. Ibrahim. I mean, if we talk about Benarous actually, who's shown promise and then hasn't been able to sort of sustain a place because of injury and stuff. And Herbie, I want to come to you on this. Where do you see him fitting in? He potentially could be obviously that place of Mumba, but do you see more coming from Benarous, and do you think he's one that you're excited about in that midfielder to come into the squad?
I mean, definitely after the QPR game. Who did we play after QPR? Was it Leyton Orient?
Yeah, Leyton Orient.
Yeah, we were calling out for him to play, weren't we? We all really, really wanted him to play. I mean, he had that QPR player on toast every time he was 1-on-1 against him. So we were all calling out for him to play against Leyton Orient, and when he didn't, and then we lost, it felt like a bit of a.
It was Lincoln. We went away to Lincoln, then it was home to Orient.
The next home game.
It felt like a bit of a blow. I thought he probably should have come on, and actually, controversially, he probably should have came on instead of Tegan Finn, because we were playing Finn quite a lot on the left hand side, and probably Benarous is probably more experienced there, or like maybe better at beating his man 1v1.
Yeah. I was surprised that when we had Ibrahim suspended for last game.
Yes.
And it was like it's either Pato or it's Caleb Watts or it's Tegan Finn in that role. Surprised Benarous didn't get a mention, because actually I think further forward he does a Lord McCabe job further forward at the pitch and spots a pass, a bit like Pato actually, although Pato's probably got a bit more of a.
And also as well, he's probably the best crosser of the ball in our team, is he not? Like he can cross a ball. Maybe like the whip he puts on the ball is
the one for Oseni
against QPR. Yeah, it was back post, like
the dream cross, wasn't it? And it very, very well for Oseni too. But yeah,
it's again we've come into the position where we've suddenly got some good depth, and if there's injuries and Waidu has to step into back into a midfield role, then we know he can. That's for sure. Bradley, I think, has a big influence on the game. Would he have influenced the game against Wigan? I think we've got to try and work out a plan, because against Peterborough, the game before where we then did lose, it's like we couldn't work out a different way to play or work around the way that they were playing against against us. So we don't want to on Saturday against Wimbledon, see a similar thing. So it'd be disappointing if we do, because then we've not learned anything, in my opinion, from the time off. But and I still find Roberts exciting potential. And obviously there is this more competition now, so it's going to be harder for him. But that's why I think it's so important to keep these cup games, however you look at them, going for these players that sit on the fringe.
We need 3 or 4 rounds of the FA Cup to get these guys motoring, particularly Belarus, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Particularly Belarus.
Yeah, I think it's good.
And Roberts.
Any sort of final thoughts, Gavin? I'll stick with you there. Any final thoughts on?
I think, ironically, until Caleb Watts comes back, I think our best midfield is the one that started against Burton. Burton, wasn't it? Where ironically, I never thought I'd say this, but having Ibrahim in front of Boateng and McCabe worked wonders. A really good assist from Ibrahim that day to tee up Talai. Won the ball back high on the pitch, because he's actually I think he's a 6 going into an 8 rather than a pure 8 or 8.5. That's the 3 best midfield we have, and now it's for all those other boys on that page to dislodge them from that position, and that's a great place to be, in my opinion, for the football club. Not so great if you're TC trying to select the team on Saturday and let some people down who are senior players who might not even make the match day squad. But that's what he gets paid for, so we move on.
Absolutely. I'm conscious we've just touched over the hour, and we've got the forwards now to do before we go into the match preview. But evening, everybody, and welcome for joining us on the Block 9 podcast. Bartholomew, big hello, evening to you. Just in the comments there. Phil Tor, sorry, Phil, I didn't pick up on that. I do see Phil sometimes when I go into the ground, and we always stop to say hello to each other. He says, how many goals have been scored through Galloway's position when he has played? I have no idea. Anybody?
Two of them were at Bolton.
No,
he got beaten. He got beaten with a header at Bolton, and then the cross came in on his side, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they're both in the back post, haven't they, Herbs?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, the corner was back post, and then the other one, he was 1-on-1 to the winger, and he let him put an easy ball in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There we go. So Phil, because he did say to me last time, he said, "Oh, I did put a comment, you didn't read it out," so I was making sure. On that.
We have now.
Yeah. Oh, I've jumped. So the forwards. So we'll wrap up then with the front line. Jim Patterson again in that triangle with Hatch and Belarus against QPR was brilliant. He's obviously had a few more minutes than. Has he had more minutes than Belarus? Maybe, but again, just been plagued by the odd niggle, but an experienced player, and I think will still bring a lot to the club. I'm going to save the obvious till last, but Xavier obviously picking up. He was touted even by the squad players of being the one to score the goals this season, and obviously got that. Was it a hamstring injury? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So, but obviously, as we said in the news roundup at the start, he's back on the grass. So it's good to see his face back out there. Bim Pepper has had a tough start to the season, but again, just shows the confidence in the squad. Getting a couple of goals in the league game and the last away game. That helps everybody. He's a big gold lump as well. So physicality there. He's got plenty to grow with Bim. Obviously Teague and Finn, who's been great to sort of see him get starts and really sort of get more involved in games. You can just see the quality in the player and why everybody raves about him. Even if you're not seeing him for many minutes, you just know when he's on the pitch and just the touch, the moves, taking on players, the confidence is there, and excited to see what comes of Teague and Finn. Obviously, Aseni as well, a bit like Peppel, was struggling a bit early on, but has then got some goals as well in those same games.
5 goals for the club.
Say again?
5 goals for the club in October.
Yeah, thank you, Gav, for that. Yeah, considering how many minutes he hasn't played. So again, confidence with strikers. See what comes of that. And obviously Owen Dale, who's joined us on loan as well. But Laurent Talai is just been a phenomenon. I think is a brilliant signing after all the impatientness of what sort of strikers are we going to get. Also, Dale Taylor is now cropped for a few months at Blackpool, another one we were tied to, a link to, I should say. But I think it says a lot about Talai, with the way it's turned a form for Aseni and Bimpepo more recently, because when you're playing against someone that wants every ball, and if you're not going to get me the ball, I'm going to come back into that midfield and I'm going to take the ball. And there's some of the quality in the goals and his confidence. I mean, he finds the back of the net every time, and that penalty was just very, very cheeky. But I think, Andy, breath of fresh air, and I know it's early days, but absolutely for me, there's a totally different player to Hardy there. Both have their good points, but I think this is a guy who just says, wherever I am, as soon as I go to shoot, I know where that goal is.
It's different gravy, absolute different gravy. Hardy run his socks off for the club and was great for the club. Laurent does exactly that. He runs for the club and he scores cracking goals as well. Now, and that pen was just cheeky. It wasn't arrogance. I thought it was a bit arrogant at first, but I thought, well, she just said Panteco, what it was called, against a good keeper. It's different gravy. I'm so glad we got him, but we've got to get protection, as Herb said earlier on. If we get any injuries in that forward line, then we're stuffed.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, you've got the confidence coming back with Aseni and Peppel, but there's still probably improvements, obviously, to come with them. And I know some of these guys aren't out and out, in the sense of Finn and Patterson and stuff like that. But Herbie, I think it does. You just to do that penalty, just shows how confident he is that he's going to score it. Because obviously you get ridiculed when you mess that up, and and you've got to feed off that, haven't you? And as soon as we start improving that midfield to get the balls back up to him, I can just see more goals clearly coming.
Yeah, and just going back to what I said about Belarus, him crossing the ball in and Talai getting on it. I mean, it's just it would just work, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. I mean, and I don't think we're yet to see that. Aren't we? Has Belarus played with Talai yet?
Not to my knowledge, no.
So there we go. So maybe that's
he would have done in the Virtu Trophy.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I think
I'll check that, but yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I think he's just been unbelievable to start with. But even the first 2 or 3 games, I mean, I think a lot of people were a bit iffy. We didn't really know what sort of striker he was going to be. We all thought he was going to be poor with the ball at his feet and just a proper poacher. But he's the complete opposite. He's fantastic with the ball at his feet and taking players on. And even just his first touch is unbelievable with the defender on his back. And really, I know he scored lots of goals for us this season, but the highlight for me of the season is his cross when we played Luton away from home.
Yep.
A ball just gets played over. It's over him. Yeah. He takes the touch away, stands up his defender, and just whips a
finds the smallest man on the back post to head it in. Yeah.
Yeah. And that took 2 touches. One touch to put it away into space. He went round the ball. He saw the cross and just did it. But 2 touches, that's all it took.
Yeah.
And
I think Gavin, he's the epitome of don't overthink. Be confident that in your talent, in your ability. Obviously, be very observant where you are and where your other players are, because you can't go and pit that, sort of crossing, without knowing what's going on around you. And because we see that all too often, players overthinking and trying to do too much, getting that ball into the box. And because my memory's useless, so I'll embarrass myself now. The goal where he received the ball from, was it Hammond, and just turned and went forward and scored. Yep. We've just got to try and get the delivery and the balls forward up to him in a way that then is going to make that player work, and use other players to pull defenders away because they're going to just be so we've got to focus on Talai because he's dangerous from everywhere. So I think as we start to improve that, and hopefully we see that against Wimbledon, no game's easy, but hopefully we'll see that against Wimbledon on Saturday, and that we can sort of see more of that, open play and really getting forward. And because when you've got the confidence of other players going, if I get him the ball in the right place, he's going to at least get a shot on target.
Yeah.
Sadly, in that game, I think the only shot on target was the pen, as we discussed post-match.
The crossbar.
They got
2 inches below that. He's in.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. So yeah, I think Andy.
Can I just make a point as well?
Yeah,
just a stato point.
Go on, Ed.
So if we were from outer space looking at which striker we're looking to buy from our current front 2, and you were saying, how many goals a game do these pair get? Right? Owen Aseni gets 0.75, 3/4 of a goal. This is just in the league, by the way. I'm not taking the cup games.
Yeah.
Every 90 minutes. Laurent Tolai gets a goal gets 0.46 of a goal every 90 minutes. So nearly double. So 3/4 of a goal and half a goal a game, but for each of them. That's why Herbie's point, I think, is so accurate around the wider game contribution, because he is a hold-up player. He can ping crosses, although Aseni's got an assist as well. He is far more all-round player than Aseni, but just on pure output, to quote an ex-Man United midfielder who's a grumpy Irishman, you're a striker. Of course, you're paid to score. That's your job.
Yeah.
Do your job.
He's a keeper. He's supposed to save the ball.
I don't clap my postman when he puts the letters to the letterbox in the morning, and maybe I should. I don't know, but that's his job, right? So, just looking at stats, we've probably got two of the most prolific strikers goals per minute in the division at the moment on the last, say, 6 games when we started to play. But there is a bigger, wider contribution for Tolai, which is why he's worth £1.2 million. And we picked up Owen Aseni for 50 grand out of the reject bin, right? Because of exactly that. But they're both coming on. Tolai, by the way, is I still think he's the best striker in the division, right?
And as he keeps reminding, he's joint highest goal scorer, isn't he now? Or is he one ahead?
In 2025, I think
he
was
picks
top.
His little stat out.
Yeah, I think he was top goal scorer in 2025 behind his lookalike.
Well, he's ahead of Haaland and that now.
He was ahead of Haaland on that. He was number 1, or number 2 maybe. But yeah, that's a stat. That's what's the fact is. The guy's he's a great all-round footballer. And I think going back to the days where other clubs have played 2 up top, Cole and York for Man United spring to mind when bought one, the other one's going to be on his way out. They played well as a partnership. Which one do you worry about as a centre half now? Well, you're all worried about Tolai because he's got all the plaudits, but it means Aseni's going to have plenty of room, right? So I think we're in a good state. I really do. But having said that, there are other strikers out there who've got similar goal tallies than him this year, we need to, as we go through the season, head to head him with all these other guys and see where he sits. But at the moment, I haven't seen better live.
Yeah, the only problem I think could be in the future is that what we've seen with Argyle before. So when we had Whittaker, who was our star man, if you took Whittaker out of the game, you put 2 players on him and stop him. You stop Argyle. The same with you remember like Rooney was for England and we were always trying to force the ball to him. Like if you stopped Wayne Rooney, you stopped England, and that's why we probably didn't do as well. Yeah. The only problem is I think if you do stop Tolai, we've got very little more to offer.
Yeah, so that was going to be sort of leading to my sort of question to end this segment on, and that is, who is the best partner for Tolai?
Oh, it's got to be for me. It's got to be Aseni. Yeah, Aseni's. He knows where the back of the net is, Aseni, and he's got that ability. I don't think it's Peppel. I really don't think it's Peppel at all.
Don't disagree.
But it depends on the game. If you're playing against 3 monsters in the back, and someone comes, because every time they come to us, we seem to be playing against back 5. If there's 3 monstrous big chunks of granite with football shirts on in the back 3 for the opposition, I'd play Peppel because he loves mixing it up, quite frankly. But Dave Morton was the class to me. Any news on Keith? No, there isn't any. Oh, he had a positive comment the other day, Dave, just to let you know. Bradders, he's blocked me. Who knows? He's irrelevant to me now. Move on.
Well, he was actually the comment I spotted when I saw the post on Blackpool winding up the Blackpool fans. So the fact because they signed him and now he's injured.
Yeah, it is.
So he's still alive. Sorry, David. Unfortunately.
So to answer your question, at the moment, Aseni is definitely the best strike partner, unless we go back to the 1 up top, 2 behind. In which case, I would play probably Pato with. If everyone was fit, I'd probably play Pato with Watts. But in the current, or maybe Amici if that's the case. But Patterson's a far too good a player not to be playing in League One, and I think we need to try and get him in somehow. But how? Who knows?
And I think, and that's, there's again, we've just gone, all through the three sort of areas, and a few games ago or before the transfer window, we were like going, "Oh God, what are we going to do here? Get another injury?" We literally got no one to choose.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
And so I think what we've highlighted, and sort of recapped everybody tonight on, that we should see some significant improvement now. We've got options there, as long as we don't get too many more injuries, and touch wood we don't. But with the players coming back, we've got some good options there. I think Finn, again, it's just the confidence in the player. When he comes on, he's not nervous. He just gets in there and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do my job when I get the ball." With Xhaka, Young, when he was coming through, felt a bit more tentative, a bit more edgy. And I think that's a great sign for things to come with Teague and Finn. But you are again, the different lineups, Gavin, absolutely, and I think that's where Cleverley's got no excuses in terms of options available to himself with the lineup. So we're literally now going to jump into the preview, and then we'll see what Gavin's predicting, as we do every Thursday, for his lineup, and see who's going to pair to lie up front or any different. But yes, Saturday we are hosting Wimbledon at Home Park. Before we go into a run of away games, I've got a slide for that just to show it in a second. I forgot to add the assistant and fourth official, but the referee is Matthew Corlett for the game on Saturday. We always like just to put that slide up. The press conference, I'll touch upon the quotes from that today. I haven't seen it all myself, so I'll come to the guys if there's anything more to add. But the international break advantage Tom was asked about, he said, when you've got a long injury list, it gives you more time to get those players back to fitness. We've had quality time on the training pitch, a good couple of weeks of training for the suspended boys too. We're ready now. On AFC Wimbledon, he said every team, on the analysis of them from their point of view, he said every team that are up there have good experience and reliable players. They do the basics very well. They are riding a wave. Johnny Jackson has done an outstanding job. We will be focusing on controlling what we can. Key player updates. Cornell Sukes is in contention for the weekend. It will be a decision we make tomorrow. Mackenzie is still indoors, as we alluded to earlier. A few more weeks still. We're patient with him, but we are talking weeks, not months. Amiechi's road to recovery. It's great news to see Xavier is out there, but great news for him too. It is a long rehab that he's got. Even when he's on the grass, he's still 4 to 5 weeks until he joins the full group. Confident in the away form. Cleverly said our away form has taken a turn for the better. Thank God. We don't look at the run of games as more difficult. It's very unusual, but we prepare one game at a time and prepare to win each one. So yeah, going through, I'm going to have to read this out. So Herbie's just said to me, my battery's running low on his laptop, I'm guessing. So, clearly doesn't have any power in his house. There's lights and all that on.
5p's, Herbie, 5p's.
So I'm going to just... Sorry?
That means nothing to me.
5p's. Okay. Proper preparation prevents. You can have 6. Piss poor performance. There you go. Charge it. 5p's, son.
Or 5p's in the meter.
Yeah, that's 50p's.
Exactly. Huddersfield 1, Bolton 1. Steve's just updated in the stats in the chat there. AFC Wimbledon, their season so far, return obviously to League One, having secured the promotion via the playoff. This marks their first season back, communicated 15 points from 9 games, currently sitting around 9th in the standings. Snapshot, 5 wins, 0 draws, 4 losses, 17 goals conceded, 13. Jackson, as Cleverly has said, has done a phenomenal job there. Fundamentals are run, block, tackle, fight. That's an interesting synopsis that GPT has put forward there, and adapting to the challenge. Gavin, you normally set up these slides with me when we're prepping for the show. I don't know if you've managed to do much research on Wimbledon, but obviously they're doing well. Where do you see some sort of concerns from them on Saturday?
Well, so they picked a very consistent. That's right. He's gone. 5p's.
Battery literally is dead.
It's dead. So they pick a very consistent lineup. So they're 3-5-2 like us. Okay. A lot of players that have come up with them, if you like, and they've recruited well.
I've got a style and stats slide yet.
They have a striker in. His name escapes me, but he scored as many goals as he scored 5 goals at 0.6 a game. Anderson, I think. And they are that well. Having seen, I've seen one game this year on Sky. They're very direct. I think you've got to be. It's the DNA of Wimbledon, isn't it? And I don't mean like fashion ball. Let's see how quickly we can get it up to the 9'6" guy at the top. But it is quite direct. It is quite. So I think they'll come and play the back five. Don't think there's any issue there. But I think what they will do is, or play 3 and then 2 wing backs.
Yeah.
I think they'll sit in. If we get an early goal, I think that will do us the world of good. Because it means they'll have to sort of push a bit. I think if they get a goal, I think we'll be into a bit of a stalemate, defence v attack again. So, but a team full of confidence. They are 3rd in the league table in the form league table for the last 6 games. They've got 13 points in the last 6 games, which is only same as Bradford and who was the other one? Bradford and Stevenage. So they're up there in the form guide, joint top for the last 6 games. They're no mugs. It's a long journey down from Wimbledon, and it was longish. I think it will be. I think this is the first relegated championship side they've played. So then maybe that'll be a factor. I don't know, but yeah, they're a good outfit, mate, and they are no mugs in this league, and there are a lot of people now suddenly giving them top 6 finishes in their prediction league, which is interesting. I think the winter might be their comeuppance, and James Greenacre, when I talked to him, who is a big Wimbledon fan, he always sort of, we're rubbish and we're not going to do this, not going to do that. But I think they will be a very good team on Saturday. And I think we need to win this game in order to get to the scum game with some confidence and move forward. So they are not going to be a pushover. Defensively excellent and good set piece, long throws. Good side. Well, when they beat Notts County in the playoffs, they mauled them basically at their place up from last season off memory. They played a really good game. So they're going to come full of confidence. They've got their joint top of the form league, and they've got a settled side. So don't expect an easy afternoon.
No, I think what I think is interesting with that, and that is sort of we've seen 2 teams park the bus now. And you normally know if you've got a team like that coming down, they're going to want to have a go because they clearly want to go out there and win. And Andy, sort of come to you. I think for me, that could open it up and actually help Argyle. I think this first goal situation, I think there's still some eggshells for us that you've just got to be conscious of. But it's they've got a good run of form, as Gavin said. On the last 6 games, they're right up there. So we expect something from them, which I think will open things up and allow the likes of Talai and everybody to try and utilise that to our advantage. I have got it on this next side, so key players to watch. The top goal scorer is Matthew Stevens on 5. He's also goals and assists with 7 from them noted in there. But yeah, the list of players pulled together for this. The goalkeeper, very good. Centre back Patrick Bauer, Jack Reeves, centre midfield.
Centre back Patrick Bauer is an absolute monster. He is bloody huge.
Let me just 2 seconds. Aaron Sazu, can't pronounce that. Daniel Orsi, Ford, and Omar Bugiel, if that's in there. Although actually, did it put Jack Stevens in here? No, it didn't actually. But he is their top goal scorer. But yeah, Andy, I think that could probably, benefit. I'd like touchwood. Hopefully, will benefit Argyle with the style of play that we want to play, and then hopefully, Cleverly won't need to find a solution to park the bus because Wimbledon, I don't think will do that.
Yeah, I think if we're quick-footed and they're more direct, there's going to be gaps all over the place, aren't there? You've got to sort of watch out for those and exploit those situations where Wimbledon will come forward. We could easily intercept the ball and pump it back forward. it's going to be an open game. It's going to be a tough one, but it'll be a very open game, I think. And the first goal will be vital. If we get it, then we can go on and win it. If they get it, as Gav said, they could park the bus, make it difficult for us.
Yeah, I just don't think they will. And actually, although I always put a goal prediction up, and it's normally me that pits it down, I'm actually under egging it now. I think this could be a game where there could be some interesting goals coming. But so in terms of, because conscious of our time and your time, folks, but Gavin, go explain to us, for those that will be listening post. I've got your lineup up as we do every Thursday. So take us through that, please.
So if it was going to have a title for this, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right? I just want to go back. Patrick Bauer, I think 7-8 years in the Championship with Preston, I think.
Right, okay.
A monstrous, very, very good centre half, not blessed with pace. So I think if Hosseini or Tulai can get behind, fine. But he's been a revelation. I think he only started a handful of games last year. I was reading a tweet I think earlier from one of the Wimbledon lot about his start this season. He's played every game. Didn't play much last year, but he has been colossal in the middle of that defensive line. In the air, we aren't going to get much change. I think a bit like our end with Ross and Mitchell and Wiredu. So I think it'll be on the floor more. But anyway, that's by the by. So.
He's only started 3 games. Started 3 games, played in 5, so not used all the time.
I think early start of the season, but since then, bearing in mind he barely. I think he had 3 games last year or something like that, for 3-4 games last year for Preston. But very good player. Anyway, that is an aside. So I have gone, for those listening in the car in the next few days or whatever. Conor Hazard in goal, no shock. Back and setting that spine in some kind of concrete. The 3 granites at the back of Alex Mitchell on the left, Matthias Ross in the middle, and Brendan Wiredu on the right. I don't think you can change that. I know Mitchell was off for the last game because of family issues, and I hope all that sorted itself out. And if Alex is back to everything as well as it can be. But yeah, that's the back 3. 2 6s of Law McCabe and Malachi Boateng, depending how you pronounce it. Wing backs of Ballymumba and Matti Saranola. And then in front of the midfield diamond, Bradley Ibrahim back from suspension. Yeah. And then Laurent Tulai and Owen Hosseini up top. Now, that was the easy part. Picking up
the subs.
To be honest, the subs, which I've had to write down in my little book, and as we went through the season stuff, I sort of deselected 2 of the 9. So my substitute bench is as follows: Ashby Delazouche as the goalkeeping cover.
Yeah.
Owen Dale, Tegan Finn, Bim Peppel, Eamon Benarous, Cornell Such. Oh, I missed our skipper out.
I literally was about to say that.
There's another one that I've even forgotten about. Sorry, skipper. Right. So there's another, and was going to be Jamie Patterson. So on that basis, I have to leave Owen Dale out of the squad and bring in our illustrious skipper. So I'll go again. It is our illustrious skipper. Sorry, Skips. That should have been first name on the subs bench, shouldn't it? Skipper, Finn, Hammond, Peppel, Benarous, Such, Patterson. So we've left out Dale.
Yeah, I think that's
Roberts, Galloway, and then still to come, Amici, Watts, Pleguezuelo, McKenzie.
Did you have Wiredu? Did you say on your bench?
No, Wiredu's in the team.
Sorry, yeah,
right centre half. So that's fine.
Yeah,
but just goes to show and I'll come to Steve's question in a minute on the skipper at the start. But just goes to show, when we are a fully fit squad, there are going to be 6 proper seasoned senior professionals sitting in the lower Mayflower with a tracksuit on, thinking, "Come on, hurry up, half time. I want a pint," and going into the players' lounge. That's where we are now. And if you look how threadbare we were a number of weeks ago, we're in a good position, and we can potentially look to add 1 or 2 players in January. So we're in a good position. Now, Mr. Vaughan,
Skipper to start is has
Skipper
to
to
start.
start was no, not away. If this was away from home, all day, every day, twice on Sunday, and then it's the conversation: is it Saranola or is it Mumba that drops out? Right. But at home, we should have more of the ball. Matty Saranola is a better crosser of the ball. He's better going forward. He's got more pace. And I think with Werradu, Moss and Mitchell in that back three, you're not going to need potentially that level of leadership. And Connor Hazard being back there, who will captain the side, by the way. Not my idea of fun. It's like having like me, tight head props, captain in a rugby team. Your head's up your backside most of the game. You can't really see what's going on, so you really shouldn't be captain. But it's the same with Connor Hazard. He's so deep, you can't really influence, and you certainly can't be in the referee's ear, can you? No. We're just walking through the pass. Yeah, come on, ref. What about this? Because if he does that, he's 50 yards up the pitch and out of his position. But he will captain the team. So I think that back four, if you include the goalkeeper and back three, is enough experience and enough steadiness there and game managers to not need our skipper at home so much. However, the 5 games post this away, I would expect the skipper to probably start 3 of them.
Yeah.
Because you need that more steely game management, less chance-taking person moving forward up front. And then the conversation for next game, which is away at the Scum, is, and I think you definitely have him in for that game because just to manage the occasion more than anything else, you're then looking at, is it Saranola or is it Mumba? You're probably for that game looking to drop Saranola because Mumba's got a great track record against Exeter.
Yeah, that's a good point. Andy, it's hard to argue too much for that change. I sort of get Steve's point because we've lacked leadership at times on the pitch, but at some stage, the squad is evolving now rapidly. Edwards will know how, that silly red card has cost him potentially, some, match time as a result because players are starting to work together well. Naturally, I suppose if you're going to change anything in there, you might not. Tell me that, but you might drop Mumba. But yeah, anything you would do differently there?
No, I think that's spot on, actually, Gav. Talking about that experience and that voice at the back, Mitch has got that. Alex Mitchell's got that. Yeah. He's solid, sound, and he's good at sort of geeing players up. So I don't find any issue there at all. Yeah, I wouldn't change it. I really wouldn't change it. That's spot on, Gav, for change.
I think the thing for me is Matthias Ross at the heart of that defence is the best communicator in the club, right? He is what the dearly departed, who scored a goal for his country earlier in the week, is what we had before in Powson. Powson was a phenomenal communicator at the heart of the defence. Matthias Ross, although he hasn't got the sort of thump the chest and come on, let's go, he's a very, very, very good communicator, as is Mitchell. Werradu was a captain of his own club. So, and with Hazard there, we've got 4 leaders. We've got 4 people that can express themselves, 4 people that can organise a defence and organise the wing back. So if we didn't have that, I think absolutely Edwards starts. But Edwards is not as good as footballer as Matty Saranola. I think that everyone in the club would say that.
Yeah, I think pace-wise, he's off it now, Joe.
It's just going to take him some time to get back in either way, isn't it? That's why that red card, as I pointed out just now,
it was a silly red card. And I think someone said it was one of the interviews today, how long is it? Would you expect Joe Edwards to be out for a week? Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, he's back. It's been like 4 weeks, I think, since he started.
Yeah.
Since the last game. So it has been an elongated amount of time. But yeah, for me, that's a side that has to start at home. We can have a very different conversation come next Thursday night.
Yeah. So I alluded to it just now. I went for a 1-0 win, but the more I sort of think about it, I'm like, this will either be a very frantic game where there's lots of back and forward in terms of attacks from both sides, and it might just be one goal that takes it, or it's going to be a number of goals in this game. So I think sort of having some proper time to digest it and listen to thoughts and review some of that, I'm actually quite excited for Saturday. And what I think is going to be really telling is I think this is a game that's really going to show where we are at And we're saying end of October, but I think with what we've just looked at there, what is available if you park the injuries, there's some good options there. The lineup, although don't change if it ain't broke. The subs bench gave Gavin a headache there, and obviously in the comments, Stephen Cooper. Before I forget, as well, evening, Steve. Good to see you come in. He's agreeing completely with Gavin on that. He would have Edwards on instead of Dale, but I think this is where I think we'll see a lot about, or learn a lot about, what this squad can really do on Saturday. So touch wood. What would you go score-wise, Andy?
I'd go 2-1 to Argyle.
Okay, Gavin?
I think we'll keep a clean sheet. If we get an early one, I think we'll get a second. So I'm going to go 2-0 Argyle.
Yeah, fair enough. We touched upon it just now, but this is what the run of games looks like. So obviously Wimbledon Saturday, and then it's away, and then it's back home to Bradford. But that
maybe not.
Could be exactly moved as well. So after Wimbledon, we've then got Exeter. So let's be up for that. Just as a reminder, I was saying earlier, for those that have joined us late, I'm not going to the game, but I'll be watching it on Sky at home, and I may just also live stream and do it as a little bit of a watch along. So if you want to join in and talk about it, if you're watching it in the comments, or just leave me on my own, that's fine. But yeah, we'll do that maybe next week, and then we've got Mansfield, which is that the rearranged game?
That's the rearranged game.
Yeah. Rearranged.
So squeezing that in on the Tuesday. Thank you, Gavin. And then followed by Wickham away, Huddersfield, and then Rovers. So yeah. So
I mean, I know what is nice there, and I haven't even thought about it till now, to seeing it on paper.
Yeah.
We've got a nice advantage there over Mansfield, because we're playing on the Thursday. I'm assuming Mansfield are playing on the Saturday. So they've got a 2-day break before they play again, and we've got a 4.
Yeah, and every day really matters, doesn't it? When you got that.
We got to travel, so that's one day off. But so going back to the Joe Edwards conversation from Steve, if you look at it, he'll probably start in the FA Cup game away. Definitely, I would play him against Exeter because of the occasion, and he'll manage that occasion better than anybody, because he's played in more scum derbies than probably anyone in the squad, I would imagine. He would have done, definitely. And then I would probably play him in the Bristol Rovers EFL Trophy game. So of those 5 away, you play him in the Exeter game and the 2 cup games, and then leave Saranola to play in the others, would be my guess. But I think he has to start purely just for his experience and game management in Exeter, because that's going to be hostile up there, and young heads I'm thinking Ibrahim more than anyone else, might just start to get away with themselves a little bit, and they're going to need him on the pitch to just calm people down.
Yeah, it's caught up. It's one of those games where you can get caught up in the motion of it. Absolutely. I think the other side to this, I was just studying the table quickly while you were talking there, Gav, is when you look at those teams and you look at our away record, that has improved, and touch wood, that continues. You would have dreaded this away run last season.
Yeah.
And actually, do you know what? That could be quite defining.
It could be season defining. When you go back and look at the Argyle TV pre-game, TC says exactly that. This next block of games will be season defining for us.
Yeah.
If we can win 3-4 out of 5, I'm desperate for us to keep going in both cups. I know we're already through in the Virtu, so that's kind of a given. I think we'll beat Bristol Rovers anyway. They're having an appalling time. I'd even let Freddie Asaka play against us. It won't be a problem. He might be their best player, but at the moment they're having a stinker. But we've got to progress in the FA Cup, because this squad the wider squad needs game time, and we don't have we don't have many games other than these other cup games to bring them in and get them form and give the manager a headache. So we need those extra games. But if we can win 3 out of those 5 away, maybe pick up 10 points from those 5 league games, we're really at it, aren't we?
Yeah, I think. I mean, Andy, I think it's a great opportunity. There's less pressure. If tomorrow, if Saturday's a bit of a difficult one again at home, then there's that less pressure with being away that we sort of seems to help the squad at times. So yeah, I mean, it's a really strong opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, starting at Exeter is the one, isn't it? That's the one we all want to win, and
Yeah.
rightly so. Joe Edwards has got to be in for that because he has played in. I don't think Connor has even played in.
Conor has never played
He's never
in a
played
Scum
in.
derby.
He hasn't, has he?
Wow.
So probably only Joe Edwards of the
Mumba.
lot. Mumba, yeah, he's
Mumba's
scored
the
against
only
the
other,
Force.
I think.
So there's only two. I think there's only two players in the
Pleggy
squad at
would
the
have
moment.
was Pleggy around when we in the pro. Yeah, he was. So Pleggy, if he was available, would have played. But
Yeah.
the squad that's available, Steve will correct us if I'm wrong in about half a second. Stato, but I think it's only Mumba and Edwards that have got any Scum derby experience.
So I mean, you've got to have Joe Edwards in there for that, and then you take it further into the other games in the Huddersfield game as well. So he's gonna. I think he should start for the Huddersfield game because they lost tonight against Bolton.
They won that up till late.
Yeah, so the guys
little
put it in the comments. Yeah, 93rd minute.
that little bit of tenacity, up there. They're not going to like that.
In Shuey we trust.
In Shuey we trust.
He needed that win, that's for sure.
He did,
But yeah, no. So look, it's there, guys. It's been a long one. I didn't think it was going to be this long, but obviously it was good to sort of do the player recap. Hopefully you enjoyed that and the usual preview coming into Saturday's game. Graham Byrne also saying, "Evening, Graham. Good to see you. When was the last time we had 5 away on the trot? Never, probably. I'm waiting for Steve to come in and say yes. It was back in 19 whatever it was.
Steve just reminded us, Brendan Galloway.
Oh, there we go. Galloway.
Thanks, Steve. I knew you'd have the data to hand.
And Stephen Cooper saying, Clev's team, when was the last time a manager has changed so many players? He is up for us. Come on, Clevs. So look, I think it could be a really good game on Saturday. It could be a bit of a sort of real good taster for what we can do. Looking forward to that. It'll be good to get back at home park, especially then with all these run of away games, which I'm sure then the wife and I will get a lot of work done because we want to do some decorating, so I can tie that in with the game going on in the background. But one final note before we go, of course, before I go to the lads for any final thoughts, just wanted to pick this one up. Obviously, St Gordon Sparks, as we like to say, 3 years on, we still remember. So thank you for Argyle for putting that tweet out earlier, and I thought I would just share that on the show as well tonight, folks. So final thoughts from you, Andy?
Yeah, just hopeful that we can pick up, as Gavin said, 10 from 15 points. That'll do this for those away matches. We've got to beat Exeter. I want to beat Exeter. That's the one. And then you go into that Bradford game and you're thinking, their bubble's going to burst one day. They may not be as good against us, so we just never know, do you?
No, and Gavin, yours, please.
Go for it on Saturday. Don't leave anything behind. Lorne McCabe said it in his pre-Argyle interview. They did it on the barbecue actually in one of the cafes. If you got this, if we win on Saturday, it gives us great confidence going into the Scum game. You win those 2 games, you're really then foot to the floor, and you've got real momentum. And we could fly up this league really quickly. At the end of this little block, we could find ourselves 8th, 9th, 10th, right? And then go, we're just knocking on the door. Then Christmas comes, and that's madness. And a lot of our players are coming back. And then we can really push on. So these next 4 or 5 games are vital. Don't you dare go out and do a Peterborough or do a Wigan on Saturday and be all go out, just go for it, because Home Park will back them, the Green Army will back them, and we should then win convincingly.
Yeah, and depending on results, because obviously Exeter had that win. I think that was a last-minute winner, wasn't it? Or was that the game before? But they are 3 points ahead of us, so it would be very interesting we go into the game on the same points, because then there will be kudos to someone who wins that. But let's see what happens. From just myself, it's been good to get back and get into the shows again. So I'm feeling it though, because it's been a long week and it's been a long show. But thank you to everybody that has stuck with us. Obviously, of course, we're back on Saturday at 8:30. So let's see if we come back and any of our thoughts marry up with what has happened in that game. Please like, share, do all the subscribing for those of you that are watching us on YouTube if you haven't already, and do the bell thing so you always get reminded of when we go live. It all helps. And of course, yes, the merchandise is still there. I'm gonna, of course, every show, Gavin, I'm gonna mention it. But go to the block9.co.uk and you'll see everything there. Plus, you can also get quick access to the previous shows on there because you've got nothing better to do, clearly, than listen to our podcast. But thank you to everybody who's joined us in the chats, and we shall see you on Saturday. But enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of your week,